think discipline comes in all sorts of forms. Like when I was younger, I wanted to learn how to defend myself, so I went to karate. And in karate, it was very much about discipline, standing in a line, respecting your elders, and I was a kid that always wanted to play, so I was agitated. I wanted to get out the line, and that was, that was a process for me. Discipline is staying on course. If you set yourself that you're going to train 2 times in the week, and you want to build that up, you do those two days in the week, and then the next week you do 3 days in the week, and you build it up bit by bit. It's setting yourself goals and targets, and not being weak and giving up on it. Saying, okay, I'm gonna train 5 days this week, and then I'm gonna eat healthy for 5 days, and I'm gonna have a cheat day or a cheat weekend. And it's just about trying to keep balance always. Try giving yourself little rewards when you're trying to achieve something, and you're whether it's being restrictive, when you're trying to be disciplined, which is so hard. Sometimes it's so easy to have those moments of weakness, but staying on course, staying on target, and giving yourself some sort of reward at the end of the journey, it really helps to know that at the end there's something positive from the outcome, from the pain of whatever you're going to endure. It could be like, I'm going to have sweets when I win my first race, or I'm going to get a new laptop or buy a new game or treat myself. I think that's a really good thing with discipline, is being able to find the balance of putting the pressure on yourself, and reward it's being able to do something that you wanted to do at the end of it. I'm going to get together with my friends on Sunday and play a game. That's my reward, so that's what I'm going to do once I get through these days. And I'm going to do those to the best of my ability. If I don't achieve that, then I'm not allowing myself to have that. That's one way I try to give myself discipline. So if there is something in particular, whether it's food, that you really want, then it's okay to give yourself that once you get to your goal. I feel the pressure before every race, but the pressure mostly comes from my will and my own drive and expectations of myself. I expect a lot from myself, and I think when I was younger, I had a lot of expectations from my dad, but on top of that was my own expectations of, okay, I've done the work, I know what I can do, I know what I can do with that car, and when you fail, it's difficult because you could have done it. The first lap of a race is really difficult to describe. I've been racing, as I said, for 28 years, and every first lap is chaotic, without fail. But there's been no points rewarded till you finish the race. So there's all this preparation, there's all this worry. Then you're on the grid. There's a lot of information that you need to remember about your race. The start is a place where you can gain or lose position or hold position. So in that moment, your heart is definitely racing because you're nervous. You want to have the fastest reaction to the lights going out. The processes in which you go through all these switches are all really rigorous, and I train a lot. I do hundreds and hundreds of these practice sequences to make sure that when I get in, it's basically common knowledge, or I don't really have to think too much about it. And after that is doing what I've done for 28 years, just racing, fastest to the end. I know it's not easy to remain composed during the things that you're faced with. When I'm racing at those high speeds, and I've got mixed of emotions, and sometimes some things I get right, some things, I make these small mistakes along the way, and it's really easy to let my thoughts run away and down a negative route. But it's about taking it on the chin. It's always thinking about it. It's not how you fall, it's how you get back up. Discipline can come in so many different forms, right? So sometimes I use it just with food. I grew up, my dad has one cupboard or a jar of sweets, And I love sweets. Who doesn't love sugary sweets? And my dad has complete weakness for it. So he's lost in that world. I can never get him to stop eating sweets. So sometimes, as an athlete, I'm trying to stay in tune with my body. Don't want a sugar high. I want to be the healthiest I can be. So I challenge myself. Sometimes I carry around a bag of sweets in my bag, but I just don't let myself ever open it. So I don't give it the power that it usually has over me. Since I've done that, like, I don't ever need them. Sometimes I can have sweets, but like I don't have that yearning I had as a kid, or that my dad has. He's a sweet fiend. So setting yourself those certain challenges, health and what you eat, is something that I challenge myself with that. In working on that discipline, it's definitely okay to give yourself a break. You don't have to be disciplined every single day of your life 24/7. I slip out every now and then, and it's okay. You don't have to be perfect. The whole point of life is about lessons, and you don't have to be perfect at everything. Like, for example, I've been on this journey of being vegan, and there's been times where that I've had slip-ups, where I've eaten a piece of chocolate, for example. And I think it's not about being perfect. It's about being on the journey and learning from the lessons. It's about the impact that you're going to have and the direction in which you're going. Self-control and having control of your emotions is naturally a challenge for all of us, right? I would say for me, I'm quite an emotional person. There have been so many times where I've lost control of my emotions, lost my temper. Anger is just, it's come out. And I think what's really important is to find a release. So I go boxing and I punch into a punching bag, and that gets a lot of energy out. And it feels so great afterwards. You're exhausted, but whatever you had compressed before gets out. Sometimes I just like to yell, and like I get to my room and I shout. So it's good to, rather than holding it in and being shy of everyone hearing me, I just let it out. I think it's really important to be able to let it out. I think in a lot of things in life, we hold things in a lot of the time, and it has negative effects on us in ways that we perhaps can never imagine or don't realize. So letting go of energy, learning to shift those energies, those negative and positive energy, things that are coming in and out that you're constantly faced with, I think is so important to excelling in what you do. I read a really great book, which was The 4 Agreements, and one of those agreements was about not taking things too seriously, knowing that people's projections are often their own fears, and so not taking them personally. So that was a great process for me to learn about that, and there are great books out there that do that, that help you guide with that. I think, in my experience, learning how to control that feeling of failure, that anger that I have, and finding ways of channeling it into things that I do. So it's how I train, it's how aggressive I am on track, and trying to find that balance has been a process that definitely has taken time through trial and error. But I've managed to harness that energy from those failures. And again, I think part of things with my dad, Do Your Talking on the Track, it's about what you're going to do with it. What are you going to do with this opportunity?